There were two main production models of this aeroplane. And here it is, the Douglas A-26C Invader. Field evaluation of this type was conducted by A-26B models with the 5th Air Force in the Southwestern Pacific Theatre, and they had their initial actions in June 1944 with the 3rd Bomb Group bombing Japanese-held islands in New Guinea. They were looking for better results from the aeroplane, and so it was that invaders were deployed to Europe in September 1944 for the 9th Air Force, starting off with the 386th Bomb Group at Great Dunmow in Essex, which had operated the Martin B-26 Marauder before switching to the Invader. And with the 9th it performed well, and B and C models, the B having a solid nose, the C models we see here with a glazed one, were fully assigned to the 416th Bomb Group based at Melun-Vieroche at that point south of Paris that November. With the 9th Air Force they flew bombing, strafing, night interdiction and tactical reconnaissance missions. They also scored 7 aerial victories. Such was this type's performance. Production of the Invader actually ended with just over 2,500 examples having been built in 1945, but its service career was far from over. It was redesignated as the B-26 B for bomber in 1948. They were deployed in numbers to post-war Germany among other locations, and then came Korea. Hit in the bomb bay from flak. Later it went on to serve as a Borate bomber in the firebombing role with all sorts of civilian operators until it passed into private hands as an historic aeroplane. But by then, remarkably, the Invader as a type had been back into combat action, and that was with the Americans in Southeast Asia. Deployments of these aircraft to Southeast Asia began in 1961 in a CIA operation under the guise of training Vietnamese pilots, because of course at that point the Americans weren't formally involved in the war there. That all changed when Operation Farm Gate started, with American advisors flying with South Vietnamese pilots. And has since making several display appearances, of which this is the first here. Overseas nations that use the Invader as well. France flew them in Indochina. The Portuguese